Hi, everybody.
We're, I don't know.
Refresh. Hi there. Hold on a minute, guys. We're trying to get everything started. Be sure and let me know if you can hear me and see me okay. Type it in the chat for me. Oh, okay. I got. Okay. Hey, Brenda. Hey, Shelly. Can you hear me okay? Let me know, please. We'll get started in just a second. We're trying to let some people come on and find me. Some of them were trying to get on earlier. Just remember it's Central Time Zone.
Let's see. Jenny says, I see you and I hear you.
Okay, Jenny, thank you.
And the Duckett says, can hear you.
Okay.
Linda says, hello.
Linda,
My
Sister Linda. Hi, Sister Linda from Chicago. All right. How's everyone tonight? Good? Okay, so tonight, what I'm going to do, you can type in the chat if you have any questions. Shelley Long is on and she will try to answer any of those or reiterate anything that I say. She was really good at that last time. So welcome to Technique Tuesdays. I'm going to try to do these every Tuesday, or excuse me, every other Tuesday. I don't know that I can handle every Tuesday. Every other Tuesday, and try to just bring some simple techniques. They may be some that are ones that you already know about, or maybe you forgot about. If you're new to our products, then this will be a new technique for you. So tonight I'm going to show you about color concentrates and how they work on thin fire paper if you're a fuser, glass fuser. And I do have some other videos out on YouTube, but I wanted to just, like I said, there's probably new people, and it's always nice to come on and just do something. And sometimes I say things that maybe I didn't say in the video, or we've learned things new since I've made those. So that's kind of why I'm doing this, just to make sure that you guys have the information. I'm also going to show at the same time how this particular technique works on ceramics at the same time. So if you're a ceramist, you can use the same idea. So I've got a tile that I'm going to work on, and then I've got thin fire paper. Okay. All right. So how many do we have on? 35? Okay. So let me switch my cameras and I'll go to my overhead and we'll get started on this technique. I'll show you some things. Okay. All right. So I think you can see me. My husband's going to check the chat just to make sure that you can. Okay. So what I've got here is some thin fire paper. Let me bring these down. What I'll do is zoom in a little bit closer so you can see some of these items. Okay, so these are the same, the thin fire paper. I'm going to show you how to color it. And then I've used a craft punch. And I'm sure a lot of you have these scrapbooking craft punch. Okay, punched it out and fused it between glass. Then I added some of our silver sparkle on this particular one. This one I painted, did some freehand with a liner brush. And then these other little ones, I just punched out of the colored paper, which is kind of fun to do. Okay. So what I did was before we came on, I prepped a sheet of paper. This is the thin fire. So you can use I just use my scrap paper, that's left when I cut off of the roll. Okay. So I've got some different sides. I've also prepped a ceramic tile. Okay. So that I can show you both of these techniques at the same time. Okay. All right, so let me show you what some of this looks like. This is one that's done with our weathered technique, and there's video tutorials on this, but this is the color concentrates on the thin fire that has been fused between the glass. Okay, you can kind of see that there's a border. So you have to leave enough room that the glass can fuse. You can't bring that all the way out to the edge. You also have to sift between the layers with clear powdered frit, and you need to follow my firing instructions. And if you look on the color concentrate page on the website, you will see there's a file that you can download the firing instructions. So I'm not going to go into that tonight because there's already PDFs and things out there. Okay. All right. Here is another piece. This is stamping just on glass. Okay. And I'm going to show you how to do that too, just real quick. All right. So let's get started. Okay. So to create this paper, what I did was I have color concentrates. They are a translucent underglaze that we have for our ceramic market. Okay. So what I've done is pick out 4 colors. I've got 123 sunflowers, 160 key lime, 137 bright violet, and 153 peacock. So what I've done is put them in a paint well, and I've added a little bit of water to them just to thin them down. Okay.
Luann wants to know,
hmm
says, I don't understand what you did to the paper.
I'm going to show you right now, Luann. Okay. I just wanted to show you what we're doing, and now I'm going to do it. So this is the same paper. Okay. You do need to put it on a paper towel or something that you can move it out of your way because it's going to be really damp and bendable. So you want to be able to pick up the paper towel and move it. I always start from light to dark. So all I did was take my color concentrates, put a couple of drops in there, and then I'm thinning with a little bit of water. And I like to mix it up with the handle of my brush. That way I don't waste any product. And I start from light to dark. Now, these are the Sumi brushes. I designed these probably 25 years ago. I'm trying to get a new set here so you can see them. Okay. And right now I have these on sale, 20% off on the website. So this is a good time to pick them up. And that's kind of what made me want to do this live tonight, was to show you how to use those for those that have already purchased that. Okay. So I'm going to start with the light. I'm going to pick up some of the yellow on my brush, and I think I'm going to move a little bit closer just so you can see. Hold on one second. Whoops, too far. All right, here we go. Move that out of the way. All right, so I'm just going to kind of mush it on, I call it, kind of pounce it on in a couple of different places. Okay, doesn't take very much. I put less than a pea size amount out in my paint well, and I've already done this piece, and now I'm going to do this, and I could probably do easily probably a 20-inch piece of paper, okay, if you wanted to. I'm going to rinse my brush in water. I'm going to pick up some of that green. Now, when you add water to the concentrates, the color is heavier than the water, so it falls to the bottom. Keep that stirred up. So I'm just kind of stirring it right before I use it, okay? And just kind of overlap and blend that into your other color. And it's really just whatever, if you want just 2 colors, 3 colors. I wouldn't go more than 5 colors. That's always been my rule of thumb anyway. It gets too much on there. Okay, I'm going to add blue now. This is that peacock blue. Now, you can do the same thing on the ceramics, okay? So here is a tile that I did. And I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so everybody can hear me okay? Okay, thank you. Any questions? No questions. Okay. So even if you're not a glass fuser, but maybe you want to do a little bit of glass, this is a way to kind of ease into it. And you're not out a lot of expense of the glass because you can actually color it. You can also, I know everybody's got like Cricut and Silhouette machines. You could do this, let it dry, and then run it. I think you should be able to run it through your machine. Bill Erickson could probably tell us that. He does a lot of that. If not, then cut your shapes out first and then come back and do this on top of it. Now, if you're going to do like Christmas trees or specific, designs, be careful because the edge of the paper will stay white and it's going to be like a white halo around the edge. So keep that in mind when you're doing things. Okay. This is the 137 bright violet. So some of the purples do not work as far as on glass itself, but they'll work on the paper. So keep that in mind I have a chart out there for like if you're going to do brush strokes or use the concentrates to do the ink technique or any stamping, and it'll show you which ones of those um, tend to burn away. Pinks and purples tend to burn out even in the ceramic world. So, okay, so those are wet. I'm going to add a little bit more purple there because I know it's going to fade a little bit, but this is one of the stronger purples. Okay, so you can see it's pretty easy. I'm just coming back with water and softening some of those edges. And you got to be careful not to, tap, 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 because you're going to get a footprint across there. Okay, it does make a huge difference. Okay, so for those of you that are watching that are ceramists, and maybe you bought our product, you haven't used it, same thing in the glass world. I'm going to grab some more purple here, thin it down with some water. I think you can see that. I'm trying to stay on camera. Mix that up. And since I've got product left, I'm just going to quickly go over here and put it on the ceramics. Now, I'm just using straight color here and water. Something that you might want to do, I've got a crack in the tile, is put our gloss medium with it so that it doesn't grab to the bisque, because this pretty much is going to stain the bisque wherever it's at. Okay. So you would use our gloss medium NT Clear CSP01, which is our clear glaze, and just add it. You can go 50-50 or just a little bit in there. It'll keep it open and allow you to blend these colors easier. If you work fast, then you shouldn't have any problem. But like I said, some bisque tends to grab the color really bad, and these commercial tiles definitely do. Okay, so you can see it's the same principle, same steps, and I'm just moving quickly with some water just to soften that. Okay, so I'm gonna let that one dry, and I'm gonna move these out of the way. So you can see they're really flimsy, so I just take the whole towel and move them and dry them. Okay, so we've got these. So now you could just punch out the pieces. So a lot of times I will look on the back side. Let me take this off so you can see of the punch so that I know exact. I hate to waste. So maybe I want to get it as close to the edge as possible. Okay, and there's a cutout. So that's one way that you can do it. You can also stamp on top of this. So depending on the color, we can go black. So we have quite a variety of stamps on the website, and it doesn't matter if the whole thing is on there. One of the free videos shows you the dragonfly. We've got paisleys. They range from $14.95 to $19.95, I think, that have multiples in them. So pick out a stamp that you like. If it's the square and it fits, that one would fit perfectly. But maybe you want something that is different, on top. Okay. We also have some of my designs that I've done. This is the doodle stamp. It's like a flower. I have a pansy with leaves. I also have two different butterflies that are real fun to do. Okay. So that plate that I showed you had the doodle stamp. So let's do it. I'm going to move this over so you can see. Also, the color concentrates are thixotropic, meaning they congeal when they sit in the bottle. So you need to shake them well. And you can kind of hear that liquefy. Okay. And then I'm just going to put some out in my palette. And let me show you the two different sizes. So this is the 1 ounce size and the 2 ounce size of the color concentrates. We do have pints also. Okay, so there are two different sizes. We also have kits of those. I'll show you those later. Later. So what I'm going to do is just, you can either use the roller sponges that we have on the website. There's 3 different sizes in a package. I think they're $5.99. You can also use just a sponge dauber from the craft store. So I'm going to show you that one because that's probably what most people have on hand. So you want to load that and then come in and just gently tap. You have a question, Bert?
Oh,
Or
I
a
think
comment?
Shelley answered, but Luann said something. You said something about the fire paper will remain white on the edges. I don't see the white on the sample pieces.
Okay. Because I left my background white. Okay. So this one, there would be a white edge. I'm saying if you paint something red, it's going to have, if you look, it's hard to get on camera, Luann. If you look really close, there is a white line along the edge there where it's a little bit darker. Okay. So it does say that because, and the fire paper turns black when it fires, and there's special firing. You need to sift between. There's a lot of precautions. So you need to definitely download those PDFs so that you know how to do that. Okay. So I'm going to show you on the paper first. We can stamp it. It's curled up on the edge. So I'm going to try to hold your paper, just kind of rock it and make sure you get it. Okay. So now you could actually cut around that with scissors and you have something for the center of your glass. Okay. To make a little dish out of. You can just reload. Just make sure all of that is nice and kind of shiny. And now I'm going to just put, and if I wanted to do it on here, but off-centered, I could do that and then just fill in. Same thing on paper. And of course, it's going to depend on how level your piece of bisque is. Okay. If it is not flat, and these are commercial tiles. So, but the nice thing about the stamp is you can kind of look and see where the other imprint is, and then you could just go off the edge. So if you're going to do that on one of the samples that I had behind me at the beginning, and I'll flip that back up in a minute, you can do this on the paper and then color it after you've stamped it if you wanted to. You don't have to color it first. So I'm going to make the most out of this and try to get that. So kind of fun. Yes.
Luann's question was relative to the samples that you have at the top on the blue, with the blue background is where she's not seeing the white on the edges.
The blue background. Okay,
Yeah,
hold on.
the little tiles that are up above your.
Well, you don't see anything right now. Luann, are you talking about this bowl? This is just on glass. The one that had the multicolored flowers. Let me switch back to that camera. Hold on 1 second. And then we'll go back to this. Give me 2 seconds to. Okay, are you talking about the one that's over here? That's got multicolored flowers?
She's talking about the blue one that's underneath your. No, not that.
The bowl that I just showed.
No. It's a little square tile. It's sitting right where your paper is, right above your paper, where you have those little tiles sitting.
Oh, the necklaces?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Hold on a second. We'll go back to that. All right. Let's go back. So
that's what she was saying.
You're zooming in really close, Miss Luann.
That's what she was saying. That outline didn't show up.
You know, on the smaller ones, it's probably not going to be as noticeable on these. And of course, even on the black, because one thing that's nice, so you're right, it doesn't show up as much. But if you were to cut out a thin fire paper and you had nothing on it and you fused it between glass, I mean, it would be white. Okay. So when you do the color concentrates on the paper or on the bisque, it absorbs into it. Okay. Can you use papyrus? You can, but I find it better if you're going to do the punches. I use the thin fire. When I do my watercolor technique, then I will use the other, the papyrus, because it is thicker and withstand what I'm going to do to it. Let me show you a piece. I think it was in my backdrop, but just hold on a second. Okay. So this piece here is called the weathered watercolor technique. And I actually painted the paper and then cut it out. And because the color concentrates absorb into it, it's not as noticeable. But if you don't get all the way out to the edge, is what I'm saying, you could see a white halo around there. Okay.
She's good.
Okay, you're good. All right. Awesome.
She, Shelley says, ask Paula to describe stamping directly on glass.
Okay. So let me. I'm running out of room, Shelley.
Actually, she said to describing, but I don't think she was meant to.
Yeah, I've got a piece of glass here. I was going there. You just got ahead of me. Hold on a second. Okay, so let's do that same stamp. See if I've got enough color out here. Normally you'd go to the sink and rinse these off. You know, and I did not really even, this was clean, but let me slip off it real quick and make sure. So if you use, and I did not get centered, okay, and I've got a little bit of an indentation. It didn't have enough color there in the middle, but you get the, you know, the idea of it. So you can come back and do more on the side. Okay, so let's look at a good one. Here is one that I stamped on glass. Okay, so let me come in closer. Okay, so this is stamped on glass. I don't think I have that stamp out here. Probably not, but it would have been a round one. And I just used some, you could basically create part sheets with it if you wanted to. So I stamped it on with the black, same thing, load it, stamped it on, let that dry just a little bit. And then I came inside of the stamp and I painted. So if I wanted to paint on here, let me put out some more blue. And I like to use the small semi brush. Always dampen first and then come back. So you could literally thin this down and you could kind of create a watercolor background if you wanted around it. Now, the color concentrates are not food safe unless they are capped, meaning you have to put a piece of clear over it or you have to sift with clear powdered frit over the top. So I stamped this one on white glass, came back and filled in with the same green. I thinned down the same green and made a wash like I'm doing here on the background. And then I just backed it with a green also. Okay. The ink technique that Debbie Elmer did a couple of years ago is what this is based on. You can take a quill pen and fill in with the color concentrates in those areas. You can pre-fire it and then come back and actually cap it if you wanted to do that also. Okay, so you can see, and like I said, I did not clean this, so it's kind of moving back on me. I had it cleaned the other day and then I've moved it around. So on the firing paper, you can actually come in. I've thinned this down. I'm using the small semi brush. If I wanted this flower to be more prominent, and maybe I just wanted, is that on the camera? Let me back up a little bit. Okay. You could come in here with your semi. You're using the same color you just put in the background, but maybe now if you piddle around and you go over the top of your black lines and you fuss with it, is it going to move? It can. You got to be deliberate, get it done, get off of there, let it dry. So you can come in, and that's how I did the paper that I did the flowers on that was in my background earlier. I stamped it, I did my coloring, and then just fused it between and left the white background.
Has the tile been glazed and fired?
No, that is a Bisque tile, Luann. Is that who asked? I got your number, Luann. It's just a Bisque tile. No, I have not glazed it. If you had it glazed, it's kind of like glass at that point, and it's just going to kind of move around. So I would just do it straight on the Bisque. Okay. So let's add another color to this flower.
Cindy Lou says, so color concentrate with clear glaze is food safe?
Absolutely. Yes. So Cindy said if you put color concentrates on bisque or greenware, I wouldn't stamp, Cindy, on greenware because you're going to get a suction with the stamp. So do it on bisque. A lot of times what I will do, I'm adding yellow to this center area just to make it a little darker. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll put down 2 coats of Color Stroke 602, okay, and put a white base down. So if I stamp and I mess something up, I can wipe it off with a sponge. Okay, so it's like I call it my insurance coat, but you can either pre-fire that bisque to set your color if you're unsure about glazing over the top of it, and then just come back and use your clear glaze and fire to 06. So you could take this and cut this out if you wanted. Okay, so you can make a whole bunch of different part sheets. You can take, let me see, I got a liner here. If I wanted to do something like this guy or this one, okay, I'm going to take my little piece of paper. I think you can see mine. I'm going to thin down my black or whatever color you want to use. And you could start creating a design. And most of you know me, I'm a fruit and flower girl. So I like my little 5-petal flowers. Okay, so this could be any color. And I'm using the 3600 number 2 liner that we recommend for class. And then you can just come in and pull those fine lines, add some little, I call them tick marks for the stamens. You can add some dots in the middle. So you can just keep playing with it. I mean, there's, so if you like to do brushwork is what I'm saying, you can create a colored background, let it completely dry, and then come in, stamp, cut, use it on your Cricut silhouette. I mean, there's so many things that you can do with it. And red will actually stay red. Let me find another piece of paper and I'll show you. I got a red out here. So remember to add water if you're going to do the watercolor background, basically. Larger the brush, the softer the look. I'm using the medium where I used the small semi brush when I was doing the detailing here. Okay. Any questions?
No.
Not at the moment. All right. Luann didn't come up with something else. How many we got out there?
54.
Awesome. Okay. So you can see that red, and that will actually stay red when it's fired. So this is on thin fire by bullseye. Okay. And it will stay red. So maybe you wanted, you've got a stamp that's a Santa or something Christmassy. You could do the whole paper in red, let it dry, stamp on there. You could stamp with red also, but I probably would do black, or you could go with the dark green if you wanted to put a tree on there or something. But you could make your own Christmas paper, you know, and make jewelry. These are just, I think this is like an inch, inch and a half. And those are like about the same thing. So then you can come back in and you can decorate with your enamels on top. So I fused the paper between. It was a complete circle. This has got a little bit of a scalloped edge to it.
What temperature would you pre-fire the ceramic before glazing?
You can put it in with your 04 or your 06 firing, either one. Is that Cindy?
That was Sue Patrick.
Oh, Sue. Oh, hi, Sue. Okay. All right. So I want to show you something here. These two same punch. Okay. Do you see that big bubble there? I think you can see that. There's like a bubble and not a bubble. Okay. I can tell you, even on your jewelry pieces, you need to sift clear powdered frit. When that paper burns, it tries to escape. The organic parts try to escape out to the edge. And if it seals around the edge, you're going to get a bubble in the middle. You can even, on larger pieces of paper, you could get the black spot because it's burning. It seals the edge. And the first time I did it, I had a bubble like that big. So you definitely need to look at that firing schedule on the website. If you go to the enamels and then go to color concentrates, you will see some PDFs about halfway down the page, and print those out and definitely fire that, use that firing schedule. Okay. So here again, I can come in here and punch these. I don't like that circle. I'll do the flower. Let me grab this one here and show you. So I like to turn it over and then find, okay, I want more purple, more yellow, whatever the case is. Flip that over so you can see that. So it's just a fun, it would be great fun for kids to do if you teach any kid classes, or maybe you just, if you get together, I hope, for the holidays with family or something, it would be fun, you know, to sit down and do with them also. But you could cut this out or you can square it up. Like I said, you can do large ones and end up making it as part sheets is what I'm trying to say. Okay. So I hope you have fun with this. It's just a neat little technique. Here is another piece. This was stamped on white with the black first. And then I came in and I colored it with the color concentrates. And then I just sifted over it. And I'm going to tilt this because this is a decorative piece. And you can kind of see up there on that green butterfly, it's textured. Okay, so that would still not be food safe. You need more sifting over it. Okay, but for something like this, if it's not going to be around food, you know, wet food, it's perfectly fine. Okay, all right. So here is another piece that I stamped with, and I did the same thing again. I did those round stamps. I came in with the concentrates and did some quill pen work to fill it in. And this too has a little bit of a texture, which is kind of a fun look to it. Almost looks like icicle kind of. There you go. You can kind of see it right there in the center. Okay, so that's another one. Here is a pumpkin. So this is one of our stamps colored in. I actually did enamels on the back side of those leaves. And then I put it on a Fuser's Reserve. I added quill pen work around the edge just for a border. So that was fun also. Let me show you a really fancy one. This one, yes. This one has the same thin fire paper. I sketched out a design on there with a watercolor marker, not with a pencil, because the graphite can fire in depending on the pencil. It's then I cut all this out of the paper, which was a pain. Shelly can remember I was talking to her when I was doing this. I was going to leave it just as a border with the white behind it, and then I decided to cut it out. Just be careful if you do that. I've got some areas that are really, really thin here where they broke, you know, the stems. Okay, so that's another one. I think that's all the samples that I have out here near me. Some of you saw, oh, I got one more here. This is color concentrates just with a brush swiped across. Well, I put stickers on it first, okay? And I don't remember where these are from. You know, AAE's got a bunch of stickers. You can go to the craft store and get them. So I stuck those on, okay? And then I swiped across with the color concentrates, just taking the semi brush, or if you've got our mop brush works, fan brush will work. Let it dry, peel those off, and then I came back and sifted over the top of it. Okay. All right, guys. I think that's all I have for you tonight. I just wanted to kind of show you that. There is probably a 35-minute video out there on YouTube already. Be sure and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you get notifications. Let me go back to my, whoops, let's go back to this view. Hi there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel so you don't miss any videos that I put up there at any time. And I'm going to do the Technique Tuesdays every other Tuesday. Okay. And you guys are hearing this first on the website. If you go to the education tab at the top, and then you go down to meetings, Zoom meetings, and there are 6 months worth of Zoom meetings that you can register. You have to register to be on. It's going to be a live Zoom meeting, me and you. You can bring any of your questions, bring any of your pieces that you want me to troubleshoot if you've had a problem. And we're going to talk ceramics and glass for about an hour on those. and it's limited space to 100 people. So if you go out there, you have to register for each one, and then those will be in your meetings within your account as far as access the day of. So you can go out there and find those. It's just got a brief description. We will not discuss any paid for tutorials, like if you bought something of Shelly's or mine or Debbie's or whatever. It'll just be an open forum, just get to know each other. We can see each other since we're in quarantine, so to speak. Maybe it'll inspire you to do some things, try some things. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for joining me. We've been about 30 minutes, so that's what I wanted to try to stick with tonight. And you can watch this as a replay. I also will download it and put it on YouTube so it's easier to find, and you'll get notifications if you've subscribed to my channel. Okay. All right, guys, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Okay. All right. Thank you.